Sabi, for joining us for the CHRO Insights. We love to
My
have you
pleasure,
here,
Rahul.
and we'll get on with the questions right away. So, the first
Please.
question we have for you is, how would you best describe your leadership style? And the second part to the question is that if we go about asking some of your peers or supervisors about, or your team members about what are some of the do's and especially the don'ts around you, what do you think they'll say? So your leadership style and the do's and don'ts around you.
Okay, good question, Rahul. But I want. It's difficult for me to describe my leadership style. I have a leadership philosophy, which is my strong belief around people. My belief is, if you give the right runway to anybody and help them taxi and take off, anybody can take off. So let me just give you a very, very fresh example. We have just finished the annual group conference of the RP Sanjiv Goenka group, day before yesterday. And believe you me, the previous evening, my chairman came and looked at me and said, "I see you very relaxed." I said, "Yeah, because my team has taken care of everything. I just told them to go ahead and do the conference and make it a memorable experience for all the 250 delegates who are attending. And I'm sure they will deliver." The chairman was looked a little worried, but since yesterday and today, we have been receiving rave reviews about the conference. Each one of the people have come back and said it was the best that they attended. It is largely because those people felt empowered. They felt that they have now got the right to deliver. So that's one of my philosophies. Give people the runway and help them to take off. That's all. The other leadership philosophy I have is everybody has a capability. It is just that they have not been given enough confidence, or they have just not been told what are their capabilities, which are their strengths. So don't talk to people about the capabilities that they need to develop upon. Talk to them about, this is your strength, this is what you can do. Go ahead and do it. That's my other leadership philosophy. The third leadership philosophy I have is, if I would love to see people learning something, whatever it is. So the whole conference that was organized, it was completely new learning for the whole team, which was and they learned every moment. There are challenges. The last moment, the chairman said, "I can't come physically, I'm not well." At 2:00 in the night, they set up a Zoom facility in the conference hall, which telecasted the whole thing globally. I said, how did you guys turn it around in 3 hours? He said, "You said that we have to make it a memorable experience for everybody." So we did. So that's my other philosophy, actually. I hope that answers your first question.
It does.
In a slightly broad way, right? Okay. The second part is, if you ask my team members what they feel around me and how they know me, I think one of the things that Sabi, I don't get angry about it, but I feel a little concerned and maybe irritation is when I find people acting very slowly. So speed is one of the firm beliefs that I have. I don't want perfection. You may make a mistake, but have you delivered with speed? And I believe perfection is the enemy of speed. So let it go wrong, I don't mind, but I will take care of it. But deliver, and then we will see. Okay. So, for example, if you are looking at a talent and you are hiring a talent, go through the process very quickly and get the talent on board. If there are mistakes which you have done, maybe with the whole structure of the compensation or title and all, we'll correct it. But don't hesitate to go ahead and complete the whole process quickly. So speed is of essence. One of the things people will tell you that Savvy loves speed. I also love people to be very authentic and candid. If they don't like something which I am doing, I would love them to tell me. And if they are not doing something which I like, I very candidly and transparently tell people. And I want everybody to be very authentic in all the transactions and conversations. And if you ask people, they will say, Savvy, yeah, we have Savvy who is very authentic. He will tell you what it likes and what it does not like. I don't mince words around that. I think the other thing that the people will tell you that there's a lot of energy in the team, and therefore he creates energy. Hopefully, that's what they will say. Hopefully,
if you had the opportunity, with your 32 years of learning and all the wisdom that you've acquired, if you had the opportunity to go back to the younger Sabby who was just about to enter Beckett Benckiser and get a couple of minutes, what is it that you'll say to them?
Stay excited, yes, but don't be abrupt. Each one of the human beings, including you have a pace of learning, and you have to give you that opportunity to learn to learn with at that pace. So don't try to achieve too many things too quickly. Things will happen to you over a period of time, but what is more important is how are you gaining wisdom during the process, and it takes time. It takes time. There's no shortcut to it.
You're of course a master interviewer, Sabby. So the next question is that this is a situation which might or might not arise, but a hypothetical situation. If you are interviewing a candidate, and let's say for a leadership position, and you've got very limited time, you can only ask one question, and basis that question determine if the candidate is a right fit or not. What could that question be?
Who or what made a very significant difference in your life, and how?
And what is it that could be a...
It can be a person, it can be an organization, it can be a relationship, it can be a teacher, it can be a coach, it can be a book, as simple as that. That made a significant difference in your life, and how it questioned your values. Did it question your values? Did you question your own personal beliefs? Did it change you? Did you unlearn during that process? So these are the answers I'll be looking for.
You mentioned, of course, in that particular question, you would like to understand their values, their belief systems, etc. What are some of the core values for you in your professional environment? And as a seasoned leader, how do you ensure or how do you display those values at workplace? At your workplace.
Okay. Some of the values which are very close to my heart, if you ask me, is of course around authenticity. And authenticity with integrity. Now, integrity is not about honesty. Integrity is about being consistent. So let's say if there's a process which is impacting Rahul, is the process impacting Rahul the same way as it is impacting Sam? If that is so, then the process has an integrity. So the receiver of the process outcome should not experience it in different ways. He may interpret and respond to it in a different way. That's fine with me. But when he is experiencing it, the experience should be the same. That creates a consistency in the process, the system, the structure, and that's what I mean by integrity. And you have to be authentic. You don't if you are creating let's say a process, let's say an HR process, you transparently first define the purpose. Don't hide the purpose. Be authentic. The other value which I really cherish is about entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is not about only building businesses, being entrepreneurial, but entrepreneurship is about thinking in a different way, completely. So that's my second deeply held value. Third deeply held value is speed. Whatever you are doing, execute or do with speed. Don't procrastinate. Until and unless the ball hits the deck on a particular day, you don't know how the pitch is going to behave. The commentators might define it as a slow turner or a fast bouncy pitch, but until and unless the ball hits the deck on that day, you are not being able to figure out, actually, honestly. So let the ball hit the deck first, then we will see how you bat. So those are three principal values, I would say. And fourthly, one value which I deeply hold is stay collaborative. Collaboration is a big value for me.
According to you, what makes a great manager? These are not leaders yet. These are middle management of the organization. That could be in any sector, any function. But what do you think makes a great manager?
I think so. I'm just trying to recollect and try to visualize a great manager. A great manager is someone who has the excitement about his thoughts. So a very simple idea or a thought that he has got, he is very excited about it. I may actually comprehend and perceive that idea to be a very stupid idea, but I would still think that the manager is outstanding if he or she is very excited about it, and he or she pitches very strongly with that idea. We then argue and then we come to an agreement or disagreement. That's different. But is he or she very excited about his or her thoughts? Whatever sort of thoughts, complex, simple, whatever. And let's say that manager has a thought which is great. A great manager, I would say, has the ability to actually go ahead and execute them. And third, it may sound like the Gita, but not even bothered about what are the results or the fruits of the outcome, but convinced and a strong belief that there is an outcome which will be for the good. So that, I think, are the pillars of a great manager. And at the same time, the manager would be, so to execute, for example, an idea, the manager should be able to collaborate, should be able to kind of influence people, should pick up knowledge on the way. So an idea, from an ideation to fructification, there is a lot of learning and relearning. So is the manager also learning and picking up new knowledge during that process and reinventing himself or herself during that journey, and has the courage to come back and say that was a stupid idea.
You see how do you see the human capital or the human resource, or the term has been evolving over the last few decades, but where do you see in the next 5 years some of the priorities for this particular function of human resources?
I think one of the areas of the human resource fraternity, I don't want to call it human capital or whatever, but the human resource fraternity now needs to actually sit back and think the capabilities which are emerging and which are required over the next 5 years. So I won't go global. Let's look at the Indian economy itself. One of the things that the human resource leaders or people who are influencing and impacting on people, they should keep in mind is that the capabilities that will be emerging given the Indian economy the kind of growth that it is witnessing, the kind of sectors where the growths are happening at a macro level. I think the people managers should be able to build capabilities around the ability to think scale. Because in India today, everything which is being built is of a large scale. So, for example, one which comes to my mind immediately is the airport in Noida. It's being built and it's gigantic. It's large. The way the overall highway infrastructure is being built in the country has never witnessed this before. If you look at the industry, the kind of infrastructure which the industry is building is of a scale which the country has never witnessed before. For example, we are building data centers, which are now some of the data centers are largest in terms of its capabilities and size and depth. So I think helping people to build capabilities to think scale. That's one. Second would be, I think I won't call it a digital capability, but the capability so Yuval Noah Harari puts it in a very nice way. So Homo sapiens, Homo erectus to Homo sapiens to now Homo deus, which is the human beings and artificial intelligence existing side by side, and not side by side. They're so integrated that they're now getting become one. So the ability to actually, I think the people with capabilities who can actually work with AI will be the people with capabilities who will actually survive beyond the next 5 years, because AI is already impacting us in a big way, and we don't even realize it. So it's like you have an accountant who does debit credit, and next to that accountant, suddenly one accountant comes up who understands Excel. So naturally, this guy lives longer, his capabilities will live longer, and he will outshine the other guy. AI is going to do the same thing. The moment I can work with AI and understand AI, I will have an edge. So I think people think it's a largely a large language model and it's maybe a computer thing. It is not. It is going to impact everything. So people will get impacted. So forget about only the digital capability. The human resource professionals, the way they will have to manage the transition, it will be a big psychological transition. So the HR guys will have to manage that psychological transition also over the next 3-4 years. Jobs will get lost, jobs will be created. Your capability today, which earns you $1,000, will become $0 tomorrow. The capability which you don't use today will suddenly become $1,000.
The last question then, Sabi. This is the easiest one, at least from a one-word answer is what we're looking at. How would you best describe yourself in one adjective?
Fun-loving, someone who wants to do a lot of things, but can't put his finger on which one is the one that I should start right now. So I'm writing a book. I think that should be my priority. But then I also believe that helping organizations to build the strategies and the processes is also important. So I get busy with that. It's largely because I am still excited, even after 32 years. And I know in my current role, I have this huge opportunity of making a big difference. to the way my group has evolved over a period of time. So we are now at the cusp of making a big cultural change. The kind of leaders I am hiring, the kind of people that I am getting on board are completely of a different genre from what the group used to do earlier. These guys are more hard-hitting in terms of focus on the P&L. They're digitally extremely savvy. They understand the overall technology, digital ecosystem. They're willing to, they're visionaries. They're thought leaders. Half of the time, just before we got onto the call, and the interview that I was doing of a very senior guy, I was chatting with another CEO of another business of the group, and this guy is always thinking 3 years down the road, what would be the landscape and how the ecosystem is going to evolve, and he's thinking of creating business streams and verticals today based on that 3 years envisioning that he has thought of. Right or wrong, time will tell, but that's the kind of breed of leadership that we are getting onto the right now. So I think we are at a cusp of time when we can make a significant difference to the talent capabilities that this group has, which can actually drive the value across the value chain of each one of the businesses.
Thank you, Savi. This was a fantastic conversation and a lovely, candid one indeed. Thank you again for joining us in the CHRO panel and for this lovely discussion. We really appreciate your time.